guys. Back to the Integrate Yourself podcast. This is with Allison Pillow and Maya Gottlieb. Today, we actually have a wonderful guest. His name is Mathew Lesko. And if you don't know, you just look at his jacket and you can tell the question marks tell you. His claim to fame for many of his years of helping people find free money with the government, but he's also a self-proclaimed federal grant researcher and infomercial personality who made it big. And his theme was the question mark, which I'd like to ask a little bit later on about what made that the signal that you found that would be more approachable, more asking why people would want to do things. And in his he's written over 20 books telling people how to get free money from the U.S. government. Welcome to the show, Mathew. How are you?
I guess okay. It comes and goes. I mean, if you really want to know, I got slides at home we could talk about.
You can have diagrams.
It's everybody talks about, well, how are you? Have a good day. I think that's all bullshit. Because if you're having a good day every day, everything's working fine, then you're not doing shit. That means you're not doing anything. You're not growing. You're not, failing. And that's what's important in life now. If you're not failing, then you're not doing anything. It's just crazy.
That's a great way of looking at it. Some people will amaze me when they answer that question, because some people say, I'm fabulous, I'm fantastic. Yeah. You don't hear that. Yeah. Or you don't hear someone say, I feel like shit, thanks for asking.
Exactly. Right. and most days are both,
Just depends on when you catch it, right?
So that really means they don't care. When I'm on the checkout stand at the supermarket, they say, how are you going? My wife and I will be there. God, I'm glad you asked. Last night I came home about 2:00 in the morning, and I had a few drinks or whatever. She locked the goddamn door on me. Can you believe that? Would you do that to me? No, she locked the door on me.
Then they wish they didn't ask, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Whoa. Teacher. They really don't care. So that's why.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess formality.
Yeah, I know.
But it's interesting to what would you do without the formality? Like, how would it be? Like,
hey, well, there's something. Why'd you exchange that? Hey, you look fucking weird. Why? Something honest. There's something that's not thought. It's a program.
Yeah.
Have we solved all your problems today? No, I got a bunch of them back here. I'm going to bring them out, and we're going to go through them all. Okay, you have some time.
You're gonna, pay. You're gonna pay me to listen to my problems.
Exactly.
Yeah. There you go. Well, speaking of problem solving, I mean, we have you on the show, Mathew, who's a big problem solver. You kind of started out as a problem solver for people in the money realm and helping people get free money, from what I understand. I remember, like I told you, I remember seeing you on the commercials, the infomercials like years ago. And I thought to myself, is this for real? Like, is this really possible? Obviously I didn't follow through with it, but now I look back and I'm like, wow, maybe there is something really to this stuff if you really put the time into it and research, but I think that people don't. So that's why they don't.
I mean, it's like
the results of that kind of thing.
Yeah, the little I know about what you said before we went on the air about your work, it's the same thing. Number one, it's stuff that's available to everyone. It's been around for a long time. Most of the programs I talk about, I've been doing this 40 years. They haven't changed.
Right.
But more importantly, and I think what brought home when I heard about you tell people about things that help them physically. And I think they get trapped into buying something because you can't find the free stuff. So the things that that is in your line of work, trying to help people with physical conditions. Well, nobody makes money out of it, so you'll never find it on Google.
Nope, right.
So if you have a problem finding something, to me right now is Google's a problem. I mean, it's great. I'm a database person from the 70s, and I've built databases and languages nobody knows anymore. And it is, so it's important, but you have to know the questions to ask. Ask the right question. If I have a headache, and you put that in, well, what are you going to see? You're going to see everybody has some pill or program or everybody's going to sell you something because that's what Google is, right? The stuff that's there for free, maybe you'll find some nonprofit, but it's going to be on page 37. You'll never get there because they're not making money out of it to make sure you see them. So that's the problem in your business and my business, is that it's Google, because people think they could get all the answers, right?
Right, that is true. And people, including me, I don't realize that Google is for selling things to
That's
people.
all. That's all. They don't make money off of you giving away for free. And you don't have money to advertise. So the stuff that's free, you never find. And so everybody thinks, oh, then I need $50,000 to solve a problem. That's bullshit. Yeah.
Right.
You just don't know it, and it's you got to. So what we have to do is train people how to use Google. So people like you, people like me, or whatever, it's really training people how to find what they need. And that's why people become more important. Like if I found you, you could tell me the 2 websites that are on page 500 of my printout that I should have, right? Know about, because you read all that shit, right?
Yeah.
But if I go Google, I don't even know the questions to ask, right? I have a headache. So how do you cure a headache? So we have every marketing person in the world figuring out, how am I going to get my product in there when they say I got a headache?
Yeah, very true. And they're making it even harder because of the algorithms.
Exactly.
And and it's a whole like a tier system, right? The more you pay, the more you become on top. Right?
Exactly. The more you're going to get there, the more money you get. So you advertise more, and then you'll never find the good stuff. So I think, how do we educate?
That's such a great point to be made, because I don't think a lot of people know how to use Google. They don't realize that that's the purpose of it.
Like doctors, right?
Yeah.
I mean, doctors are the same thing. They're there to sell you a procedure, a test, a bill, or anything. That's how they make money, right?
True.
So that's why you got to stay away from them.
Well,
you got to use them, their tool. Lawyers are the same, right? They all see a legal problem.
Yeah, we always say use doctors as consultants. They're consultants to your body, and they're not your overall authority.
If
because
they want to be that way.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, exactly.
They want you to just do what they tell you.
Yeah, they want you to listen, which is why.
And that's right. And they don't know.
No, they don't.
The doctors know, and that's why what you have to find is the doctor says, "Hey, I don't fucking know. This is why we call it practice."
Exactly. That is why it's called a practice. Yeah, I agree.
We're guessing. Try this. Oh, it doesn't work. Try that. But they what I think in our society, you only get paid a lot of money if you make the other person believe you know the answer. But,
right.
But in fact, none of us do. And this is why we're all scared, because we really don't know the answer. So we go to an expert, and the expert's afraid if they tell them they don't know either, that they won't get paid or they won't have a client. But I think that's not a loving relationship.
You're on it. You're totally on it. Like what we experience is exactly what you're saying. Yeah. And that's where self-helplessness is part of where we've trained ourselves to believe. It's not where you can be your own researcher. And the beauty of that is it's okay. You're not as fragile as we've made ourselves. Like we really can do things and change direction.
And be as fragile. We are all fragile, but so is that fucking doctor.
Well, yeah.
I mean, human. Yeah.
Right. And so they don't have the courage to admit they don't know, and let's work on this together, because shit I don't know. And let's figure this out, instead of, well, they only have 5 minutes to talk to you because they have to get somewhere else. Right. That's what, my heart hurts for doctors. Can you imagine you have the power to really heal people? Oh my God, what could be better than that in the world? Help somebody else's life and improve. And to me, that's an incredible relationship to have with somebody.
Yeah.
But if you only spend 3 minutes with them and your hand's on the doorknob trying to get out of the room, how satisfying can that be?
Not very
well. And I think a lot of them have gotten scared over the years of lawsuits, and then they're not in that mentality of learning themselves. They stay limited, and some of them are really afraid to retire because they want to retire or they don't want to retire. And then if they do retire, they have the mentality of, I just want to get through the years and I'm done. Or they get into where I was talking to an ophthalmologist where he's like, I have to learn what's new. I have to keep myself on the cusp of what's happened because it's so easy to just stay in my lane. And they teach us.
It get smaller.
Yeah. And they teach us that, scope of practice, do not wave, do not, but then they want you to be very open to referring, but the referrals don't come back the other way if you're not a doctor. The doctor tends to say, well, go to this other specialist, this other doctor, not the other way around.
Mm.
And to me, it is, it's hurtful to people. I mean, I think you're really hurting people. Like I say, it's not a loving relationship. And a doctor, you could heal people for the rest of your fucking life while you want to retire. I mean, if you have that skill, what are you going to do? Play golf for the rest of your life? Why the hell anybody want to do that? It's just beyond. You want to do something you're shitty at for the rest of your life. Who at 65 could be a great golfer? I'm going to retire and play shitty golf for the next.
Well, that is the American dream. Like, and
I grew up like that too.
Realize that's not really a dream.
It's
that's
stupid. Well, that's because we worked in factories back then when that came out. Now we don't.
Yeah.
You could heal people for the rest of your life. So you should not do that. You should go play lousy golf. Now that just sounds absolutely dumb. Who needs you then? We don't need another lousy golfer.
Right.
We need people helping other people. Yeah.
And let's talk about that, Mathew. Let's talk about how you've helped people.
Lousy golf or what? Oh.
No, not playing golf. Because I'm curious about your story. Like all I know, I really just know you from your info commercials. And then I saw that the Vice.
You saw that Vice thing?
That was
my wife and I talking dirty in the coffee shop.
Yeah, that was really funny. Yeah, that's great because you guys were so honest.
That was another thing that I see as I get older. I mean, I think that's the one thing we all could do. I mean, now I can't run as fast. I can't hit the ball as far or anything, And as a guy, that's the important shit in life, unfortunately. And I could love hard.
Yeah.
That's one muscle I could just practice on and get better as I get older.
That's great.
I'm going to get better at that than anybody else. Yeah. And we all could do that. That's one thing.
That's
and
true.
what could be better? What could be better?
I agree.
Just, you could love harder than anybody. What can you do the rest of life? Well, the rest of your life, you just start now. Loving harder. Man. No matter what age you are. And you can get better at it. That's what I say, like anything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to practice. That's why I say I never had a pet growing up. And I saw we had two dogs when I had two boys. And I saw when they were 12, 13, they'd come home from school and roll around and hug the pet. They didn't do that to us anymore. But, they're learning that. That's great. Pets are great for that, particularly for guys.
Right.
And that was sort of nice.
What was the inspiration to create all this? Like, I never got a clear understanding of was it a moment?
I understand. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. just enlighten us about
I don't know. I mean,
so part of you actually in the interview really described how finding your artist within and how you were fortunate enough.
Yeah.
You were fortunate enough to find that.
Yeah.
And that part of you, I mean, I would assume had to go through a lot of struggle to get to that clarity, like at first, in the beginning.
Yes. And thank God I was shitty at everything else.
Oh, wow.
And that's what it came. I got an MBA. I was starting in computers back in the 70s. I had a software company that failed and everything. And nothing worked. And I was doing it like I was told. This is what we're on now. In other words, like the doctors do that. Everybody, the coaches. It's another thing I think is so fucking stupid. We have so many coaches telling people what to do, and they become a coach because they don't know what to do.
It's true.
It is true. Yeah.
And we're living proof of that too.
Exactly, right.
Now what we realize,
right.
I don't have anything to teach you. All I have to do is tell you what I did. And this is how it might work for you. And you need to try it and do it yourself because you can't do it the way I did it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a million ways to get through life. And nobody has the one way. And that's why we all have our own one way.
Yeah, but you got to have a name. The marketing
Right.
department
Right.
says we need to
Because you want to
categorize.
advertise on Google so you could get.
And if you try to tell somebody you don't do anything, that's not really going to make them really
See?
understand.
Now you're becoming a problem, aren't you? You're trying to solve problems and you are one.
So it's the
I have the
double-edged
same
sword, right?
My whole day is thinking of headlines.
The paradox, right?
Yeah.
The paradox of life.
You got to fight media. And that's what I saw in the question mark suit. I saw that I did a lot of TV earlier because I was doing books. And the way you sold books, the only way that time was get on TV on talk shows and stuff like that. And then I quickly realized is the camera goes to the asshole. It's a Donald Trump syndrome thing. I relate to him. So I know this is what I did. I acted the same way he does. Different motives.
Right.
And that's what the media is about. If you're just another boring suit,
It's not the camera's not going to be on you. Yeah.
Exactly. No.
So everybody has to have a stick somewhere.
Well, it just, you don't, but the media requires it.
But the media is changing so much. There's so many.
I can't get arrested on it now. I was the darling of talk shows. I mean, I did Oprah 3 times, I think, at Letterman maybe 6, 7 times, and Larry King and all this stuff, because they wanted entertainment.
Yeah.
So they didn't care what I said. What was amazing to me is I thought everybody read my book and was going to call me a fraud, and nobody reads it, nobody cares. You can say anything you want. What they wanted was audience and entertainment. And I'm happy to do that. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy making a fool of myself. As long as I have a mission, to me it's to educate. So I was a college professor and everything. And you can't keep people awake. You can't educate them at all.
It's true. You have to gain their attention.
Yeah.
You have to get their attention.
And if you don't get their attention. But the suit, everybody thinks it's a marketing thing. I was called to go to Harvard Business School and talk about branding.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They think I was a big marketing department. No, I'm just having fucking fun, man. I don't know.
I love it.
I love that.
I do.
I love when people are like, I have no story to tell you. It just happened. And this is
just for fun.
That's where the good stuff happens. And
it's because we forget how to have fun. We forget that.
And that's where the magic is. See, that's what I learned. After I was doing it, like everybody said, I got an MBA, going all these courses and whatever, and everything failed. And I said to myself, okay, I failed twice. I thought that was going to be the end of the world if I failed once, that everybody see a big F on my forehead or something like that. And I realized nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares if you fail. You think they do, but they're too involved in their own life, tell you the truth, to care if you fail or not. And so that came clear. And then the other thing was, boy, I wasn't having fun. So I failed and wasn't having fun. Life is pretty shitty,
Yeah.
So then it occurred to me, well, now the next time I do something, I'm at least going to have fun. Because then if I have fun, if I fail, I have fun now. Why struggle and be miserable for 10 years? Because I'm going to make $1 million in 10 years and then I'll have fun. Well, most likely that ain't going to happen. And you're just pissed away 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So same theory of retirement, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's
rest.
Stupid. Yeah. And so now I think the thing is, no, you beat the system by having fun today. Because then, no matter what it is, you're having fun. Why? You can't wait to get up in the morning and do it. You're going to be miserable for 30 years, and then so you could do that maybe.
Right.
And that's not a failure if you're having, if you're enjoying life. I don't
exactly. I mean, isn't that the point of life?
You can't fail.
Yeah.
and it's this whole, I mean, and I'm guilty of this as anyone is just that this idea of being serious all the time. It's everything's so serious.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Your health isn't serious. Your mind's serious. Everything's so because I think we wrap it around the idea of importance, right? Our significance. We think about how education is brought into play. We're supposed to become some professional. And then when we do that, we kind of take away the idea that, no, you're human and you still don't know what you're doing.
And you're right. But I think also, see, to me, another thing about fun, I think you really have to be creative in today's world, because anything we know, we thought that works, it doesn't.
Exactly.
So
you just look at YouTube.
Yeah. Nobody knows what. So now it's a time for creativity. Yeah. And so if you're not having fun, you're not going to be creative. I think also, if you're not having fun, you can't be, you can't give as much of yourself, because you're not digging deep enough. It's sort of like a mediocre date, kind of thing. If this date is great, mediocre date, you pick somebody up, and you pick them up at 8 o'clock and everything, and you start looking at your watch. You say, "Oh, it's late. Oh God, it's only 9:30. I thought it was midnight."
What do I talk about now? Oh God.
Gotta waste some time.
And then those wonderful dates where it's, holy shit, 3 o'clock in the morning. What happened?
Right.
And so why isn't our life like that?
That's a good question.
Having fun,
That's really good.
What it is. And why shouldn't we sacrifice to be that? Nobody wants to sacrifice. No, because I need a fucking BMW or else I won't be happy. Jesus Christ, that maybe does something inside. I don't know, but if you're not joyous inside, then you're not giving. And I think professionally, we have two ways to give in life. One is professionally, so we're giving our skills as hard as we can to somebody else to improve their life, right? And so whatever it is, and so if you're not joyous in that, then you obviously aren't going to give it as much, because this is going to be like going to the dentist or something, because you're just doing it for some other reason. You have to do it. And so you're not going to do it as well as you can. So that means you're not giving as much as you possibly can to the rest of us. And then as a lover, or your personal relationships. I mean, it's the same. To me, life is all about how much can you give before you die. And then how do you set that stage so you could do it? And to me, I think one is having fun. If you're having fun doing something, then it's easy to have fun. It's easy to give more. I mean, if you love a sport, I remember I was a golfer. We talked about golf. I loved it as a kid, and I realized when I was in my 40s, the reason I played was the only thing I had something in common to talk to my father about. But I did enjoy it. I'd be out there. I'd play in the rain, the sleet, and the snow, and 72 hours in the dark or whatever. I'd go to the office, and I want it perfect. I want everything perfect. I want to leave it so-and-so in there. Why life should be the other way? Why aren't we contributing to the world professionally? Like, we want to do that passionate thing. Picasso say, "Well, yeah, I got to start painting today. It's 5 o'clock. Shit, I better get on the easel here."
Right. So we've lost inspiration, really, and the passion of what we're doing, right?
And because we all think having some bigger toy is better than anything else we do, which is not. I don't think. I certainly didn't believe this at 30.
Yeah, of course.
But at 75, it's easier. And boy, I mean, it is, and we're missing so much, and that the rest of the world is missing so much by you not giving good. I know. See, this is me inside again because of my father.
Yeah, you're in a conservative area too.
Yeah, right. And nobody talks to me at all. Nothing to say.
You need to move to Portland.
Right, exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Then you won't be weird anymore.
You won't be weird.
Right, exactly. Yeah. No, I remember I was at Burning Man, and it was like wallpaper. Nobody noticed me at all.
I believe it.
And that's it.
You had too much clothes on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I always thought that people who don't have a lot of clothes or naked are the ones that are showing off, are heavenly endowed, that they want to show off.
Right.
Us more modest people are, because we're not as proud of those elements. So, anyway,
but you were saying that's you, that the jacket that you
Burning Man.
Is it a reflection of you? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
If I was an accountant or dentist or anything, the same thing that had to come out. I remember in 10th grade or 10 years old, seeing somebody on TV, Annie Granatelli. I remember he was a sports racer driver. He had a suit with STP all around. neat, for some reason. I don't know why. Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. I don't know why you think like that. And then I was on Capitol Hill as part of a caucus called the Congressional Clearinghouse on the Future. I was on the board there. We would bring these people in. It was like in the 80s. And we had like Jacques Cousteau would come in. And he had this little Nehru outfit. I said, oh, that'd be sort of cool to have a little, like your own personal uniform to wear every day. I'm a clothes horse. So I couldn't go one style. But now I find as being a clothes horse, funky is cheap. Nobody knows how cheap this material is. They're not looking. Before I had a funky suits, I'd be wearing $1,000 suits, or something. I get these made for $200. Nobody knows how cheap they are. They're question mark suits. Yeah. People treat me so nice in the suit. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I get free upgrades on the airlines. I get coffees.
Did they recognize you when you walk in?
Even if they don't, I like it if they don't know my work.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with my work. Yeah, it makes people smile. I walk down the street, people smile at me. Every woman come up and talk to me. First time in life, where were you 30 years ago, man? And it's fun. And I always thought, that this would be a phase. It would lead to something else. And I'm wondering, what's that going to lead to? It hasn't.
That's it. So you mentioned the question mark is to ask better questions and kind of lead into that. So what I do find it interesting is that your career is providing and organizing first, but then providing information to people is your way. When did you realize you were really good at organizing information and stuff?
It's all natural. I mean, I was never good at school. I hated school and flunked out of school. Prep school, I flunked out of. Barely got through college on a 2.000, whatever the number was. I had to graduate. I got out. I got that. And then I went back down MBA with GI money after Vietnam. And grad school is easy, for some reason. I don't know. And but there I was teaching computers too. I was fascinated with computers and organizing data. And I was a terrible writer. I flunked English. Washington fascinated me, the information that it had here. I wanted to start a business. I didn't care what kind of business. I would have ran a hot dog stand down the mall or something like that. I didn't care. I just think I couldn't work for it. After 6 months working for somebody, I was going fucking nuts. So I couldn't do that for the rest of my life. And so I was starting business with a failed computer business, all kind of thing. And then with my MBA, and this was around the time of the oil embargo, but maybe my MBA was in management information systems, they called it computers at the time, and trying to get information of top management. I was very interested in businesses and how they operated. And I said, hey, what's happening in our life, this is back in the 70s, nobody cared about information outside the organization. Every computers handled payroll, things like that, and that's it. And you didn't have to worry about what's going on outside. But the oil embargo, this little country nobody knew of across the world, brought us to our knees. So it seemed to me what companies needed in this country was information about what's going on outside of their organization. So after I got my MBA, I was going to start a consulting business. Couldn't even write, but that showed people what's going on externally, their competitors, their markets, their technology, legislation, all these things that could affect your business. And I ran around the Fortune 500 companies trying to sell them. Nobody knew what I was talking about because I probably didn't know at the time. And then I do research, and I got pointed into mergers and acquisitions because they're the people that wanted to know about outside. I was one of the founders locally here in Washington called the North American Society of Corporate Planning. People who worried about the corporation 5-10 years from now, instead of just the next quarter. And that fascinated me, futurists, things like that. That's why I was on the Hill. I was on the board of directors. It was Congressional Clearinghouse on the futures to try to get congressmen to worry about 10, 20 years from now, not just the election. And so those kinds of things interest me. It was hard to sell. And I didn't want to be a high-price consultant. I said, fuck, I do research. And when people would call me up and want to know market studies or competitive information, anything business would want to know, I would find the answer in Washington. It was sort of like libraries at the time, and they were the best libraries in the world, or the experts who studied all this stuff, and they had all the unpublished work in their office. And I just find them somewhere in the bureaucracy, go down, get all the books, get all the stuff, and charge my client 10 grand for everything I got for free. And then, why doesn't everybody do this? Everybody. And so I said, I hate it working for rich people. They're no fun. They don't have fun because they're too worried
Yes,
about being rich. And so I said, why doesn't the average person? So after I grew that business from me, a phone and a desk, about 30 people on K Street, like all the other bandits. I said, check all that. Just find out how to educate average people about the tool, the information, the expertise that is available in this country for free, the price of a phone call. That's all you need. You get the best information, better than your doctors. I could call up somebody at NIH who's spending millions of dollars studying your disease, and we'll know what will be in the New England Journal of Medicine next year because they're researching it today. And because I live in America, I have the right to find that out now and not wait to see if my doctor have read that shit. I could find out 2 years before they do. And that is just, to me, it was like oil under the ground. So we have that. If you don't tap into it, you just walk over it every day and don't do it. And information rules our life. You have to know how to use it. So, and it was more fun. I could act crazy. I remember giving speeches at Procter & Gamble, these big Fortune 500 companies, and I'd act like an idiot because I love teaching and to entertain so I could teach. Nobody would laugh.
Really?
Yeah, because they're all afraid of what their cohort thinks of them. Everybody's trying to act sophisticated.
Yeah.
I go speak at a library, pick my nose, man. Nobody cares, And they were more fun to entertain than people in corporate life. They're all afraid of, just not being normal.
Yeah.
It beats it out of them, and so that was. And I'd rather help. I don't want to work for rich people. I don't feel they need me. Somebody else across the street will do it for $10,000. I'll do it for 20. I don't want to. The people who need the 10 grand, it's the people who don't have that money that are more satisfying to help, and you feel needed. I think that's what we're all about. We want to feel needed.
Yeah.
And personal love or professional, and that's what I mean. So that's why find something you want to do so you can do it as hard as you possibly can. That's why I look now when I was selling millions and millions of books, I didn't get the kind of, I had lots of stacks of dollars down in the basement, but it wasn't the kind of thing I get now. Is that one-on-one. I'll spend an hour doing a live feed on I have 4 iPhones I do at the same time. And the stuff, I had to work on a 1-minute commercial for like 6 months. To fail, and so people see 1 minute of me, and that's it to get that phone to ring. Now it's understanding and feeling and whatever. It's we don't know what works, and that's what I love about trying to figure out what the problem is. I have to find out. People don't know what they need either. Right. They say, "Oh yeah, I want more money." Fuck you. And then you get trapped into everybody else who's has something that promises you more money. That's not really what you need. And so that's what I mean about the questions and digging down so I could package something. And then how people buy it now. How do people buy it? I don't know. You're probably struggling the same way if you're trying to make money out of this. People used to buy reference books. That quickly is gone. But it's more fun. It was to keep going. I would have been bored. Shit. Now it's really interesting because I feel I have 20 more years to go probably, or maybe more. And I want to use it as hard as I can. I want to give as much as hard as I can. So whether it's personal love, that's the other thing is how much can you give? That's why everybody thinks, I want to be easy. Why? Why? You want to play basketball against a 5-year-old? That's easy. Go and do that.
It's not fun either.
Yeah, exactly. You're not growing. So what
They don't give the ball back.
Exactly.
They cry.
Right. So, it's not real life, and you're not getting as much as you can out of life, I think.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a life like that. And I think it's all the opposite of what we've been or supposedly programmed to do. And I really think all that stuff is just really, I find myself, am I doing this because I really like it? No, it's probably just to impress some other asshole.
Yeah,
well,
that's a great question to ask yourself.
We get told get what you can, and instead of the idea of like, it's not, like you said, it's about giving, it's not getting. Yeah. But it's the hard part of survival, right? Because we don't have the community unit that helps each other in a way where it used to be like, you would, I don't know, this is what they said, because we didn't grow up.
You read that in history book.
I read it, right? The tribal unit was supposed to work together, right?
Yeah, this is what we've heard, right?
So this is what we've heard. You have to tell us based on your age versus our age, but they said that was how we did.
You see a change now coming back. I mean, this administration is trying its best, really, to make that feeling to everybody, that we are in this together. Fuck. That was a bad joke you just did.
I know.
Sorry.
I was wondering. You threw me for a loop there, man.
Like, what you were talking about?
but it's deep down in everybody, and we have to support ourselves, and I think that's very important. So there's things, but how much? I mean, and all the happiness data you see, correlated with income stops at about 75K. And income really increases happiness up to about then, and then.
Oh, really? You're saying that's a study that?
Yeah. So I mean, and that's true. And then we can't be dependent on, temporarily, whatever. But I mean, that's why, to me, the gift, like somebody said, "Oh, happy Father's Day." What the fuck you mean? Why are you saying me happy Father's Day? It's my kid who gave me so much,
Yeah.
I mean,
they're
the gift. I didn't do anything.
It's because you're supposed to buy something. You're supposed to.
Exactly.
You're supposed to purchase something on that day.
You're supposed to find your guilt.
Give the kid. He's the one that helped me by being here.
You're supposed to have the guilt of knowing that you haven't spoken to your parents, and
or all your issues around that. Yeah.
Right. Oh God.
But,
that's right. Getting all this wonderful, and also what's getting what is nice about aging is that the hormone level. Especially for men. I don't understand women. I don't even understand men. Certainly don't. I've tried marriage 3 times too, so you got an answer on that. But it is, a lot of that love and sex stuff, when you're younger, it's.
Hold on one second. Whoever's talking next to you, are they good at?
Oh, they're on. You want to hear them better? What?
No.
Yeah. What are they saying?
She's on the phone. Oh, they're going to leave because now they found us.
Okay.
But with a lower hormone level, is that too loud? Yeah. With a lower hormone level, you have to dig deeper emotionally, and that's something, no one told me about. Well, no one told me about the early parts either, but that what a wonderful thing. I mean, people try to, Viagra and all this stuff to act like a 30-year-old. Man, who the fuck wants to do that? This is so much richer.
Yeah.
And able to find something more rewarding, that's digging down with, you're scuba diving emotionally, to keep all this stuff going, which is just wonderful. That it's just not pushing a button.
Right.
Everything goes,
So I kind of want to know do you feel like because the hormonal change has made you more in tune with yourself feelings?
Maybe so. I mean, it's probably a chicken and egg thing. I mean, I'm a big worrywart about, anticipation when the kids were 5. Oh, what am I going to do when they leave?
Oh, right.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so, but I think all of our stages are very interesting, and they're different. And we all want to be like 22 or something, which seems so dumb. And at 12, did you want to be 5?
Right. That's a good analogy.
Right. No,
definitely not.
Done with that stuff. Yeah.
You always wanted to be older until you got to a certain age.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And then because our culture, is different, but I think it's different. I think it's all about contribution, because if you're contributing, then you start realizing other things that are important. And also, I've never loved as hard as I do. No.
That's incredible. And I love to hear that, because I feel like so many people go into their older years and they just give up on themselves and they stop living, and it's like, you don't have to do that,
Harder, better, feels better. Boy, I mean, it's just phenomenal. But it's risky. But I see, if you're worried about the mechanics, I see that's what drives the mechanics,
Right.
Okay? And then, so you have to get deeper. And that's the fun part. Yeah, so it is. Otherwise, I would have missed this. And that's why I think I'm taking Viagra or something to increase your sexual. I miss a deeper emotional.
Yeah. It helps you slow down and really.
Well, it's not slow down. It's richer.
Well, when I mean slow down, I mean like as opposed to being, driven with testosterone like at a high level as you were in your younger years. Now it's kind of evened out a little bit, right? And then so it helps you really absorb what's going on.
You're less the racehorse. You're more the
but that is, maybe that's a part of life or something. I don't know. I mean, to me, this is a hell of a lot better. I mean, it's much more rewarding. I don't want to act like that before, because I'm feeling. I mean, sort of, but
Well, you seem like very much you're a nurturer too at heart in some ways, Mathew, and
we all are.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think any of us are any different. I mean, in degrees we are.
Yeah.
There's part of it, but I think the loving part has to be, up there 1, 2, or 3 for all of us. Why else do we want to?
I think it gives you a ticket to the game still, like in terms of like the more you put in, the more you are invested, the more you kind of realize like you are significant and we need you. Like, I think that's the hard part about
it's to feel significant. Mathew, your audio went low on me. Does that mean?
Yeah. Do you want to get closer to the? I don't know.
I'll be eating it soon.
Okay. Weird.
Go take Viagra.
No, we may not want that.
No, not that kind of show.
I find from your conversation, I really find that I really appreciate what you're saying, because you're really putting more effort in versus just saying, I'm going to retire and sit back. And you're working harder than ever, but in a different direction.
Well, and I think that keeps all that stuff. I mean, even when I was younger, I mean, if you have to have something bigger than you to worry about, and to me, that keeps the mind off of just you and all your little fucking problems,
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to do in my work, show people how to finance what they really want to do in life so they can keep doing and contributing and have something bigger. So if you're doing whatever it is just so you can get up and retire and then do what you want, well, why not figure that out now? And there's help and financial assistance. There's ways to do it without having money. And to start doing that, so even now, that would alleviate a lot of stress, I think, in your life now if you have something. I mean, life is not unstressful. Everything is hard. But if it's working hard at something you want, is not work.
It's not work. Yeah.
It's true. It's important. It's growth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to use your stuff for my kids' college tuition. Because that's coming around the corner.
Already. Well, there's a lot of things here. I just did a seminar, webinar, I guess, on that. A couple things. I mean, everybody has a couple things. I think right now, if they're going soon, you're in the driver's seat. The average kid is only paying half the cost. The average kid, the sticker price. Less people are applying to colleges. Colleges, the biggest sock of money to go to college is at the college. Yeah. And they're now, so you want to get as much money as possible out of them, and they're giving more money than ever before. Oh. So their average new freshman only pays half of the sticker price.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, and they're getting, and that's increasing because fewer people are applying.
Oh, wow.
The other thing is shoot low. Everybody wants to shoot high, right? You want to go to Harvard.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Say, no, you go a lower school that you want to do because they want you for their numbers to make their numbers look better, and they give you the fucking money because they don't want to.
Oh, yes, that makes sense. Well, and I always told my son, I was like, why don't you just go to community college for the first 2 years, get your classes in, then go to the better school after that, right?
And honestly, now in a lot of, and maybe Oregon's this way too, but it's harder to get in the public universities.
Yeah.
But they have to take you if you come from the community college.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, And so there's that, and they're the kind of thing. Also, there are many colleges, particularly junior colleges, going to be all free. And right now we have half a dozen states. New York has free up to incomes up to $125,000.
Oh, wow.
You go to free. Right. Junior colleges now, there's a bunch. Maryland, we're talking about having free junior college. Yeah, higher education is just so stupid. Also, think Europe.
Yes, that's what we thought about too. Yeah.
But it's terrific. The European Union has a database of 30,000 programs, all in English.
Wow.
They teach in English over there in all the colleges because that's the national language. So, you could go the best universities in the world for like $1,000 a semester.
That's amazing.
So even if you pay another 10 grand, what the hell?
Yeah.
To get
that's just the airlines.
Right. Right.
What about the idea of this teaching, like becoming a teacher at a different?
Yes, your state. The best place to check that. Your state is another big thing that people don't check into. Your Department of Higher Education at the state level. When you're searching for any of this, my rule of thumb is don't go anything that has .com if you're looking for money for college. You just stay away from them. Don't.
That makes sense.
Maybe there's one or two that maybe, but you're looking for .gov or .org, O-R-G. Org is a nonprofit. Some of them may charge something or whatever. And .gov is a government. So you're looking for help for college. They're the only people you look at, only thing. Because otherwise, everybody else is selling you something or want your name to sell your name.
Oh, yeah.
So just stay away from .com.
So what about the idea of like higher education? You saying it's, I think I heard you say it's a waste. And I have to kind of agree that some of that is just another way of getting a house payment before you graduate. Right. But what do you believe in terms of what's happening since the rate of students going into college is lessening?
Well, I mean, our higher education is like healthcare. We pay so much more than any other developed country in the world and get worse results. So something has to go. I mean, the debt, I think that's terrible to get. So if you could talk your kids into going to junior college, I think it's the smartest move in the world.
Yeah.
The education, you can't complain about education. What's happening now, people are going to 4 years at 40, 50 grand a year, and now can't get a job for 30 grand. And I was just reading about this counselor in New York City who charges these people $8,000 for a couple of sessions to get a $30,000 job after they just paid $100 grand.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And this is it was a puff piece in the New York Times too, like that she was doing something of value.
Wow.
They're just rich, spoiled people who they went to colleges thinking that if they pay all this money, they're going to get a job. They don't. So now they don't get a job, so they think they have to pay somebody else to do it. So they're just enabling this kid again, thinking money solves every problem.
Right. Yeah, it's an issue, isn't it? Yeah.
Are you seeing trade schools coming back? Do you see
Well, yes, we have to now. Man, and a skill. And I guess the real thing of that is jobs. And if you're worried about that, there's certain things that, how else are you going to be a doctor? Well, they got a union. You got to join this fucking union to be a doctor, right? So it's hard to shortcut that. And you want to work for a big company? Well, that's what colleges do. They're training places for you to come in. I went to this school. Oh, then you have to be okay. So they don't have to think on who to hire. They went to that school. Well, you're hiring. Why aren't you responsible? So skills, but I see there's a glimmer, and it's not really, how big of a trend is that people are hiring. You could do it anywhere. Not in big corporations, because big corporations have to cover their ass. They can't just say, yeah, you don't even have a degree or a high school diploma, but you can do this shit fine. They won't do it because they have to cover their ass. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you hiring a freelancer to do something. Hey, can you do this shit? Yeah. Okay. And you pay them, right?
So consultants are kind of coming in.
The gig economy is doing that. So there's a lot of that in the gig economy and or consulting, freelance work, and that's a growth because now big companies don't want to pay you all this other stuff if you're on the payroll. And to me, it's even more secure if you have 3 clients is better than one boss who may not like you in the morning.
Or you don't have like a pension anymore. Exactly. There's not really any great.
Right. So none of that stuff.
Yeah.
So all that landscape is changing. And
do you feel like we're in a bubble again, or of any sort?
A bubble, like it's going to crash at probably higher education. That has to. That's higher debt than anything, and it's stopping. And where it stops now, they'll stop buying houses. So 25-year-old, that's why the pet business is booming. These kids aren't having children, they're having pets, and it's cheaper.
Yeah. And people are paying. They're not buying houses either, is what you said?
Exactly, because they got debt.
That's why the apartment boom is going on.
Right.
Now, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But even then, those are so expensive that it's incredible.
Well, we're doing something now. We have a big house in suburbs. We always had a 1-bedroom apartment downtown in Washington. My wife had it. We always kept it. I love it. It's sort of like, it feels like a Paris apartment. There's a little veranda on the street. There's 15 coffee shops within 2 blocks. And then we have this Leave It to Beaver thing in the suburbs here. And
that's awesome.
And we don't need this house. We want to live downtown.
Right.
So, we need a bigger place than 1 bedroom. Yeah, for closet space is my biggest problem.
You're keeping the storage companies in
right. Yeah. So how do we do this? I didn't want to go down and look for a bigger, like a 2-bedroom. And, because it's millions of dollars nowadays in downtown Washington State. It's crazy. And so we decided to do, which makes perfect sense to me, we're getting another 1-bedroom apartment in the same building.
Oh.
Separate.
Wow.
So we have the 1-bedroom we love, okay? We have another 1-bedroom, like there's a big closet, just keep shit in, or people come and visit or anything.
It's a great idea.
Have to screw with us. I also help with the marriage. You get a little too tight together, I'll be studying.
I know people that live like that.
Yeah.
They're married,
or
but they live in
she's having friends over. I hate that asshole. I have to be nice.
I need
You're snoring too much. You need to get upstairs.
Right. Yeah. So it seems perfect. And so we're going to live in about 1,000 square feet in both of them. They're both about 500 and something.
That's so cool. I love that. I love that idea.
And get rid of all that crap. I don't know why we have it.
Yeah.
You're building a family, so you got.
Well, we've gone through so many levels and phases of getting rid of stuff. Like each time we just get rid of more. And, it's try not to collect more.
I had to unload. We just unloaded my mother-in-law's house. And I've never felt so much guilt in my life in terms of because the abundance is so vivid. You cannot, and every now I drive by every house and I'm like, the shit that we just took out of your mom's house is incredible. Every house is like this.
Oh, right.
And the idea of I have to say the model for the guy who created Goodwill is incredible.
Yeah.
You bring your crap to him for free.
Exactly.
Then he sells it for you because you don't want to do a garage sale or you don't want to figure out how to utilize stuff or you just got so much you don't know what to do with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've
been doing that, but I do it online, like 5 Mile. There's something called 5 Mile. It's like a garage sale, without having a garage.
Yeah, there's a lot of these businesses now.
Yeah, you just put a little pictures on the internet, or Facebook has a thing like
market
that.
space.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
they've been just to see to get rid of it. Because I'd rather almost give it away to somebody who really needs something,
That's what I
or
do
to
too.
see. Yeah.
Well, it's hard because you think, you're in the mindset of thinking Goodwill is the name of a nonprofit and all that.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
It's not. It's a
It's
highly
not.
profitable company, right?
You know what? In its time of need, when you're trying to get rid of crap,
exactly.
you're like, thank
Yeah.
God you're there. Thank you for
It's
taking
true.
this.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what
Provide
to
a
do with it.
service. Yeah.
Well, that's another thing. Actually, if we do this now, then 20 years from now, our kids don't have to worry about
Exactly. That's
what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll say thank you for your kids, because if they don't know it, they will.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh my.
But then I could get more work and just doing the stuff it's work and loving. Yeah, I could do that
sounds
in a
great
one-bedroom
to me.
apartment. Yeah. Why need all this other stuff?
How many tea parties are you having now, right? Like, how many little China sets do you need?
Oh, too right. I
Because
don't
back
even
then,
know.
that's exactly what my
Yeah.
mother-in-law had. It was like, how many did you have? Like, how many tablecloths? But that was the years of
Right.
entertainment and stuff and all that. So, okay, just really quick. One of the things that you mentioned was how people were giving you a hard time when you first started doing all this free money giving in terms of information.
They still do.
Did they really?
Oh, do they?
Yeah, it's really people who are against government programs.
Oh, I see.
We have, nobody should get anything from the government as long as you just stay away from my Medicare.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right.
and that's fine. I don't really care anymore. And to me there is. I mean, there are half of these things we don't need, but they don't go away. And to me, I keep going because I know they can help somebody. Yeah. They only knew it was there. Maybe you should get rid of them, fine. But the people who do get rid of them, like in the tax cut, it drives me up a wall more than anything. They want to cut food stamps by about $300 million. Okay, because somebody's cheating. I guess that's the thing. But so $300 million. They just gave $1.5 trillion to millionaires.
Wow.
And I'm sure some of those cheat on their taxes.
Oh, definitely.
Exactly. With the blink of an eye, and it's just sort of priority. So that, I mean, to me, it's, sort of like fairness. You don't mind if everybody's suffering if you're suffering, but, that's why I like, I learned about government programs. I grew up in this town called Wilkesboro, Pennsylvania, and a flood came and it wiped out parents' business and home and everything. And I was in Washington at the time and went up and shoveled for like 2-3 weeks. And everybody was hit. And everybody was shoveling out their homes thinking they'd live in. Most of them didn't come back because the government paid for everything. That's when it turned me, wow, government, all that, wow. See the power that it has. But also, to me, when I learned when a disaster happens, that if it's indiscriminate, if all the rich people were, not hurt. That's why I think that inequality doesn't bother me per se, but it when it ostracizes people, when other people see, okay, you're giving him $1 trillion and you're taking away food for me.
Well, it sounds like at every level people are getting things. I mean, it's like we all, it doesn't, so, I would think that you would want your neighbor to have things, like I find it so weird that people are bothered by people getting food stamps when, even if they are cheating, they're still just getting food. Like, who cares? Like everybody should have food, right? So that just to me is such a weird concept, but
so
go ahead, sorry. Yeah.
So one of the things I wanted to ask was, because of that, there was someone I was listening to, and it said, the idea is poverty expands with the government expansion. So these government programs have a connection to corporations. Corporations would lose out more if you got rid of the programs, because it really has influence from the corporations. Do you agree with that?
Well, I agree with the second half. I don't know about the first half. And is that the government is creating poverty, or the programs create poverty. And maybe
well, it comes from the idea that there's an adaptation of it. You first crave the starvation, and then then you decide whether to slowly repair it. Like you're going to keep yourself from you're going to alleviate it slowly. And versus, like, we know there's so much money out there. If you were to just give the money to people or whatever you would give, instead of taking this slow titration.
That is right. And I think we're starting to test that. I mean, when the Scandinavian countries are just giving $500 a month, $2,000 a month, and actually Stockton, California is doing that. Is trying that now too. So I think theirs is $500 a month. Just do whatever you want with it. So we solve our own problems. Yeah, I mean, all that is very tricky. Now we just gave, like I say, so if you're a millionaire, you just got maybe $40,000 from the government this year because of the tax law. You just gave it them. You could do anything with that, but we're not going to do it to somebody who needs $100 for food.
Especially if you just quoted that 75,000 was the
right, exactly.
So the mentality is, I got this free money, I need to keep it, instead of saying, okay, I just got this free money, who can I help?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people who have money also speak out, I feel like, about like, hey, this isn't quite fair. Like we're getting, I've heard people.
I'll tell you what I do. I'm going to blow my own horn here. I started a scholarship fund at the local community college here. I don't need my government money scholarship fund. I get Social Security. I don't need fucking Social Security.
Right.
And so a couple grand a month or whatever. And so for a couple grand a month, man, half a dozen kids could go to college.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so I don't give it all. I keep a little bit.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Mad money. Yeah. And, but it is, I mean, in this zip code where I live, I mean, that's a couple $1,000 bucks. That's a couple of dinners downtown for some of these people, these millionaires, And what are they getting government money for?
Yeah.
So to me, I feel, well, instead of trying to change the tax system, or not me, and get that money to the education, the Pell Grant, let's give it to the fucking kids.
Yeah, right? Get rid of the middleman.
Yeah. And that's it. I mean, there's just too many people getting it now. I mean, that's $1 trillion we gave from the government. The rest of us are going to pay for that $1 trillion that we're giving to everybody for the next 20 years. And for no reason at all, but somebody was able to pay somebody off or be friends with somebody to get that law change. That's why I say it's easier to make money by getting a law change than developing a product, a service that is contributing to society. So that's why they spend more money on marketing Congress than marketing, America, or developing a new product. They could get billions this way by just changing a typo in a law.
Yeah. Well, that's the issue of whether or not they're who's the lobbyist, right?
Yeah.
Who's taking care of them?
Right.
Yeah. Interesting.
Right. No, and that's why that's how the system is rigged. If you can get, corporations don't lose their home if they go bankrupt, but a person does.
Yes.
But in the law, they're treated like the law actually protects them as a human. The corporation itself isn't that true?
Oh yeah,
but not in bankruptcy. Yeah.
But like you said, like in terms of what you can sue a corporation or something like that, is that
right? Well, you can't get the individual. That's another thing to me. I feel if you're going to start a business, I mean, why don't you stand behind what you do?
Good question.
Right.
I mean, why should I deal with you? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You want me to deal with you, but if I sue you, you're going to hide and just say I sue a shell or something, so you don't stand behind what you do.
Yeah.
Or the fiduciary clause. That's another thing. Is we have something I didn't know about it a couple of years ago. People man all other people's money. Fiduciary. They're supposed to have your interest at heart, right?
Yeah.
Not their own as the fiduciary. And a couple of years ago, we passed a law to make that a law. They have to have it. Trump got that erased. It's no longer a law.
Wow.
No.
Well,
Wow.
I couldn't imagine that you didn't do it anyway before you had to have a law to
I
make
know.
something.
I didn't even know that was a law, but it should be.
Right. And
Wow.
Yeah. See, these are the things that people don't really know, right?
Yeah.
This is
it's
the
complicated.
I think there's so much information. It's hard to find
It's
these
overwhelmed.
things.
We're trying to eat.
Yeah.
We're trying to take care of our kids, family, whatever. And I think it boils down to your heart is smarter than your brain.
Mm.
You know, and to follow your heart more.
Mm.
Actually, Mrs. Trump said that today.
Really?
Absolutely. She came out and said what we're doing to the kids, the immigrant kids, is terrible. Her husband thinks it's great. And she said we should govern with more of a heart.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that's what I remember advising my kids. I remember one was going to work for Obama. I didn't know, and he had a good job in here. And I said, your heart's smarter than your brain. Just do what your fucking heart tells you.
Right.
That's good guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the important decisions. Yeah. Sure, you want to quantify things and see if you're not jumping off a cliff or some shit like that.
Right.
And use your brain.
Unless you have a parachute.
Right, exactly. No, but trust that. Because that, I know I'm wrong 90% of the time. I really used to. I know there's some old data somewhere. I wrote 20 books. I really wrote 100. But only about 10 have made money. And so I know I'm wrong 90% of the time. Yeah.
But you're okay with that. That's
that's the only way, especially now, it have to be. Because you're only going to learn by trial and error now. Because any advice you take that this is going to work, fucking ain't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get through that thing that doesn't work. And so it's fine, take advice, but don't spend money in doing it. Because you'll run out of money before you find the real answer.
Oh.
So you try a whole bunch of shit, maybe maybe not, but if you're starting to spend money doing all this stuff, and you're not going to live long enough to do it. You'll be out of money and have to get some shitty job before you find out.
Which is an empty bucket. Like basically it's always that, there's a hole somewhere and you're going to, keep drilling for something that's not there. That's
right. And then we don't know. And that's why, if you have and I think if you're doing your own ideas, then that's a better way to learn.
Mm-hmm.
It's too easy. If you take advice from somebody else that doesn't work, then I knew that guy was wrong. He was an asshole,
right.
Whatever. And just miss it. So the way to growth is really pulling apart the failures. So you really look, okay, why, maybe, and try to get as much as you can out of that failure. So the next reiteration, you could concentrate a little bit on something else to see, see if that is a stepping stone. And you'll never, and I think really the way it works is you keep doing that, and all of a sudden something works by complete accident. But you look brilliant then.
Imagine.
Then people ask you how you did it, and you're like,
exactly. Everybody pays you a lot of money. How to do it.
And you just smile.
Right.
Yeah, that was me. So we're coming up on over an hour, definitely, Mathew, and we really appreciate you being with us here today. Is there it sounds like you've already pretty much given people some advice to get started. Is there anything else you'd add to that as for people?
Life is dreadful. It's hard.
Yeah.
All those things. Yeah. So quit trying to make it easy, And it's hard no matter what you do. So it's going to be dreadful. So, why pick at things that are easy? So pick at things you won't think are important.
Oh,
that
I like
to
that.
me is the grease that helps you get through.
Yeah.
Better,
I think that's smart.
Yeah.
Because
it is.
a lot of people
doesn't matter. Because then even if you fail at it, hey, I want to do it anyway.
Yeah. That's great.
You really want to play football, you're playing football, so you're losing. But hey, I'm playing football. Yeah.
We are sitting in full abundance. Like it is incredibly easy to do everything in so many different ways, but yet it still has a level of hardship to it, right?
Well, I don't see that.
But not to be, I think, just to kind of reframe, it's not to say, you know, don't be afraid of working hard. You know, like you're saying, work hard at love, work hard at being fun, right? Because that's
giving.
that's giving.
Yeah.
But as you say, what I worry about is your generation is punching tickets. I think that's the evil of, here's the 5 steps you have to do to do something, you know, to be and you get your tickets punched and everything, you get out there and have fucking that's working. You know? And so you're not becoming resilient or resilient about that thing. You just tell me what to do and I'll do it, and I'll be a success. And it's my generation telling you that, because we learned something. Oh, all you have to do is this, and that's why it's. I think the biggest sin in life is telling somebody else what to do.
Mm-hmm. Kind of sidestepping your own experience of life in a way.
Well,
right?
no, it's that we're all different.
Yeah.
We don't know what to do ourselves. What gives us the audacity to criticize somebody else's life?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think that is the biggest sin in life. Everybody thinks everybody else should know. They know what they should do. They're trying as hard as they can. That's why love to me is taking someone you love and say, tell me what you want to do. I'll help you do it. What it is.
I like that.
Be judgmental on what somebody wants to do. I mean, it's fun to be judgmental. I do it all the time. It's really fun. But really love somebody. We're all struggling so hard. So if you love somebody, I'll do whatever you want to do. I'll help you do that. If you want my advice on what it is, I think it's a fucking nuts. But I don't know.
If you really want to do it, I'll still help.
Yeah, right. Because I don't know. I don't know what's going to work. I don't know what works for me. You know, so how can I tell what works for you?
Yeah.
You're struggling.
Yeah.
You're struggling. I'm struggling. Everybody's struggling. So what you need is someone to help you do whatever you think at the moment is important to do. You know,
yeah, that's
love
a nice.
Somebody that way. That's what I think. After all, and I started thinking that way in my late 40s or something. That's what love really is.
Yeah.
Your job as a lover is to help them do whatever they want to do.
Right.
A good lover doesn't have to be told what to do either.
Yeah.
And the thing is that brings back to listening, right? Just listen.
Yeah.
Because that's really what we're looking for.
But no, and that's why none of us like listen. We're programmed to just trying to shut up so you guys could talk.
I love it. Well, we really appreciate your time and so much of your wisdom, because everything that you're saying has a true bell with it in terms of how important it is to really refocus as you see through your lens. It seems like a lot of that has been life lessons that have taught you quite well, and
going through it is fun. It's not the same as reading. That's the best way to learn, is just trying.
Yeah.
Read. And you guys, that's right. In the beginning, when you were talking about what you do, that's what I do. Same thing you do.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Just in a different focus, not healthcare. But if you want to know how to get free healthcare, I'll tell you.
Darn, we should have talked about that.
I know.
Well, if you guys want to know that, then you can go to your website, right?
Well, actually, I have a freebie. Can I give you a freebie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Oh, I have the sheet. I left it inside. It's www.free.lesko.com/5best, and best is small letters. So www.free.lesko.com/5, and then best, BEST. And that's a free download. I show you my 5 best websites that give you free money and help do anything.
Cool. And I'll put a link to that on our show notes. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's great. And so a question real quick. If they can download the free gift, and then also they can just go to that same site to get your information.
Yeah, all that in the download.
Okay.
Everything. Yeah.
And the way, and just real quick, also you are with that website Clarity, and where you.
Oh yeah, how do you know that? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So the connection, so the listeners know, is that my
exactly.
husband actually found you on that.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't believe it. He was a sweet guy. It was fun talking.
And he wanted to talk to you because he has the same mentality of you. Is like, just call somebody.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to know something, go directly to the person who's, you know, or
horse's mouth.
Yeah, right. And so he saw that on Clarity that you basically, you know, will talk with someone $1 a minute. Or and he had to laugh with the other guys that were like,
I know $10 an hour.
No, there's some guy that's like $200 a minute or something. Exactly. I'm like, what? What?
Well, what I use it for is talking to people. See, I don't learn a whole lot this way if I'm talking myself. But I need to know problems more so I can figure out how to package the answer. See, I got to know the questions. I can't assume what the question is. So listening to problems and then trying to solve them for them so I could see patterns or how to package things. So that's market research instead of getting paid for market research.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to reach you, we'll link that to you too.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, do you do Instagram, all that stuff too?
Yeah, I'm on that. I have 4 iPhones that I do. And
Are you're on YouTube, I guess, then?
YouTube.
Is that true? Okay, yeah.
And I have 2 Facebooks, an Instagram, and also Periscope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
So I use all of them at the time, and mostly, and that's really to get feedback.
Yeah.
I sell mostly YouTube has been the best for me. Some Facebook, I haven't figured out much on Instagram, but they're 6-8 months, but I just don't work to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it's mostly short things. I got to do more short things.
Yeah.
I'm into long things.
Yeah. I can see why YouTube would be good for you.
Yeah.
Well, do you not have an assistant or do you do this all yourself?
No, most myself. I got 1 or 2 other people helping with stuff. But no, I'm a one-man band mostly. Because I don't know what to do. I hire people to do stuff, but I'm not sure what to do. So.
Right.
That's a lot of work, though. I mean, seriously.
But something I want to do. I want to figure this out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I don't want to give it away and have somebody else figure it out because I don't know what the question is. How can I tell anybody else what to do? I don't know.
It's a good point. Yeah.
And if you're going out, you could say, "Oh, I want more business," and there's plenty of people will take thousands and thousands from you and guarantee business. But
it's true. So
it's how do you? This is too important for me to do that.
Well, thank you again, Mathew.
Thank you, guys.
It's great to meet you. Talk to you. Yeah.
If I can help, let me know.
Okay.
Right, thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
All right. Bye.